everybody. Welcome to a special July 4th edition of Big Bang Wrestling. I'm your host, Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
All right, and today our episode is really more leaning towards just really WWE and AEW news. It is not really a whole lot that stood out happened with New Japan, Impact. Nothing ever really happens with Impact. It's just the same old. Anyways, one thing I do want to talk about to start this off is, WWE released even more people this past week. They released mainly a lot of NXT and pretty much the whole 205 Live roster. They released. There's a lot of talent in this group. You had Fandango, you had Killian Dane, Tyler Breeze, and all three of them were extremely over at one point. You had Marina Shafir, I don't know who that is. Everrise, they were seeming to be fairly popular with the crowd, and out of nowhere they get released. Arturo Ruas, I don't particularly know who that is either.
Tony Nese, I was always a fan of him. I always liked his style.
Yeah, me too. That one really came as a shock to me that he got released. He was even a former cruiserweight champion, correct?
Yes, he was.
He had the talent, the skill, the appearance of a champion, what a cruiserweight should look like, in my opinion. And they gave him the boot. Then you had Ariel Daivari. Yeah. He got released. And I want to say his brother even quit too, and he went to AEW.
Yeah, Sean Daivari.
Yeah,
he's a producer in AEW now, Sean Daivari.
Yep. They released the Bollywood Boys that used to be with Jinder Mahal every week. August Gray, I can't think of who that is. I think Kurt Stallion, I wanted to say he was on 205 Live for a bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's been there too long.
I mean, so that makes you wonder, though, are they pretty much just doing away with 205 Live? Or...
I think they're getting ready to get rid of a lot of stuff because I saw something on come off of Twitter the other day. I don't know if you saw this, but somebody said they were talking to a management, an office person,
Yeah.
And pretty much said that these cuts are necessary and they're going to keep happening. So.
Oh wow. I wonder who's going to be in the next group that gets released.
There's no telling. Look what they did with Samoa Joe. I thought that was hilarious, and they didn't even tell Triple H, so he got pissed and hired him back.
Dude, right? I was reading something Samoa Joe had said.
That was perfect.
I was reading something that Samoa Joe had said on a podcast. He said he was texting people that he was close with, and he texted Triple H. And Triple H was like, give me a few days, we're going to send you out another offer. I don't want you to go.
Yeah.
And now he
didn't even know.
Yeah. And now Joe is pretty much in charge of the talent scouting for NXT. And I thought it was weird too how bringing back people that just got released. They even brought back Zelina Vega on SmackDown and just instantly put her in the Women's Money in the Bank.
Yep.
It was out of nowhere. There's no build, nothing. It's just, bam, here's Vega, bam, she's in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, here she is, and then they had her just wrestle. Who was it, Bailey?
No, Liv Morgan.
Was it Liv? Yeah, it was Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan beat her.
Yeah, Liv Morgan beat her. It was they're kind of skipping over her. Oh, to me, Zelina Vega's return. Zelina Vega's return was really kind of anticlimactic. You know, it was just kind of there.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, because I forgot who she was.
Dang.
I mean,
She was
I forgot who she was at first.
she was with Andrade for like 3 or 4 years.
I wasn't paying attention to her. I just watched his matches.
Oh shit. You know, and there was a big rumor that she was going to be this big surprise that Andrade was going to announce on AEW like 2 weeks ago. I mean, WWE just probably offered her more money.
Yeah, I mean that's really what a lot of this comes down to. Who's going to pay the most?
WWE probably just offered her more money for real. But I know she was like in talks with AEW though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she was. I have no doubt about that.
Speaking of AEW, they're already beginning to start more advertisements for their second show, Rampage, starting next month.
Well, isn't this like their fourth show? They have Dynamite and then Dark and then Dark Elevation. And
does it come on TV?
I mean, I just know they show wrestling on everything they can.
I don't even.
I mean, yeah, it's their second TV show.
Their second TV show, because I'll be honest, I don't even watch the YouTube stuff because my internet ain't that great.
Well, and I don't have time to watch wrestling on TV and on YouTube.
Yeah, you ain't lying. That's like we said 2 weeks ago. It's too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the conversations we just had. Is just way too much wrestling. You have a wrestling show every night.
So you have multiple ones every night.
Literally a wrestling show on every night. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, yeah.
You know, I think I'm willing to bet, right, that if you just watched each wrestling show that came on in the span of a week, back to back to back to back, and I'm not just talking about Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Dynamite, and Impact, and then the Saturday Night Ring of Honor. I'm talking about everything. You know, Dark Elevation, Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, Main Event, NXT UK, Ring of Honor, New Japan Strong. If you watched them all back to back to back like that, I bet you get at least 3 full 24-hour days.
Well, not only that, you got MLW, NWA, you know.
Yeah, I forgot about
AAA, all these different, the CMLL, all these big major companies that show stuff all the time.
Oh, I'm just talking about North American companies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, but once you start adding everybody else in it, you know what I'm saying? It's just...
all the major ones, holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And most of them are 2-hour shows.
Ain't no way anybody's watching that much wrestling. So I believe that's why that it's either you're a fan of this company or you're a fan of this company or you like this one or you know what I'm saying?
Unless you're Dave Meltzer, then you do apparently find the time to watch all of those wrestling shows.
That's because Meltzer sucks and has no life. And I'll go on the record and say that.
At least we agree on he's a piece of shit.
I think Baron Corbin does too. That's why he lost Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Well,
am I wrong?
Baron Corbin didn't. No, not at all. Baron Corbin didn't call Meltzer and tell him how great he is and give him the dirt on everything. That's why Meltzer doesn't like him.
Fuck Dave Meltzer. Fuck him.
Okay, Tony Schiavone.
Too busy riding Kenny Omega's dick. I can't say that.
Oh, we can say that.
No, we ain't gonna go that far. Anyways,
just say it. He is an elite jock rider. There you go.
anyways,
That's a nicer way to put it.
Let's go back to what we were talking about. Either way, it's a lot of wrestling to watch. There's a lot of wrestling to watch. Rampage, I still think is going to be a good chance to showcase the people who don't normally get to come on Dynamite, or that come on Dark and you just can't watch them.
I just think it's going to be too much.
But while we're talking about AEW, I do want to ask you about one thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about this build going towards Hangman Page and Kenny Omega for the belt? Because they really just dropped a bomb on it.
Right now, I think it's horse shit.
It's a very slow build.
Well, it's not even this that it's a slow build. It's just like you just said, they're just dropping the ball with it,
I didn't say they dropped a ball. I just said they dropped a bombshell with it. Like all of a sudden, what was it? Evil Uno and the Dark Order, they just kind of came out and said, Hangman Page is the only one with the record that is really in contendership for his title. I think it's going to be a great match, and it should have happened, a year and a half ago? When Omega and Hangman split and lost the tag titles?
Yeah, that was about a year and a half ago.
And I don't know why they waited and put it off for so long, but
I think, this is just me personally, I think they're just running out of ideas. They don't know which way they want to go, so that's why you're getting all these random feuds everywhere.
But I will say, if Hangman does beat Kenny Omega, that would be a huge way to get him over, even more than he is already. I
don't think that highly of Omega. I don't think Page just beating that one person is going to be all it takes to make him a big star. He definitely has all the tools and everything to be a big star, but on a mainstream all-around level, it's not going to take just one guy.
Oh, no. But if you look at, I'm not talking about just my views or your views, because I'm not big on Omega either. Especially with this current role he's doing. I'm not a big fan of it, but his overall popularity, I think it will be enough to make him a bigger star in AEW. And then as he gets more title defenses and more wins, it will get him over with the mainstream.
Yeah. But that's my thing. Like you just said, his overall popularity is only with that one group of fans.
I mean, it takes time. It's kind of like Zack Ryder with WWE.
Page beating him. Well, but that was the people getting behind him because they actually liked him and pushing him. It's the same thing that happened to Mick Foley. The people genuinely loved him, so they pushed him.
But you don't think it was just, I ain't going to talk about Mick Foley because that was a lot of WCW fans too and ECW.
Yeah.
But like with Zack Ryder, it was only the WWE fans really getting behind him and pushing him. Same thing is going to be with Hangman.
Yeah, but the more mainstream, which is what we were, talking about him, that's going to be your WWE fan base. That's going to be more mainstream than the other,
Well, I think he's going to he's going to end up catching WWE's attention if he hasn't already, especially after he wins the world title and gets put on that main event scene.
And I'm not saying he does it. I've thought that since they started, he should have been one of the very top guys, Adam Page.
Yeah.
But after all this Dark Order crap and being a dumb drunk, it doesn't feel the same.
The drinking thing didn't bother me none, but pairing him with the Dark Order really didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, there was no need for that.
I don't even remember where that came from.
Yeah, I don't. There was no build nothing. It just boom. Now he's hanging out with the Dark Order.
I need to go back and see how exactly that came about, because I know he was having matches with all them guys at one point, and then
well, like every vignette was just him sitting at the bar drinking, and then a couple Dark Order guys would show up and start talking to him. Like that was it.
After, God rest his soul, after Brody Lee passed, they turned Dark Order into a comedy act. And that's basically what it is now. That's all it is to it. You can't deny it. That's what it is. It's a comedy act.
Yeah. But back to what we were saying about, Rampage.
Yeah.
You got to think that's supposed to come on after SmackDown. That's what, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're expecting people on a Friday night to watch an 8 to 10 show and then a 10 to 12 show. You're just expecting these people to just be home on a Friday night like that.
Is it going to be 2 hours or is it going to be 1 hour?
Now that I'm not sure. I'm just assuming. I'm just throwing a number out, but I don't know if it's 1 hour or 2 hours, but still you're at a 10 o'clock time slot on a Friday.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a bad time for real. That's a bad time slot.
Yeah. Right. I mean, look how the episodes of Dynamite did on, Saturdays.
Yeah, and they went back to Wednesday night, and their numbers went right back up to I think it was like 881,000.
Yeah, it was like 800 something.
Yeah, I think their numbers are going to continue to grow back after they're back on Wednesdays for a few more weeks.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I know you ain't a fan of AEW exactly like that, but I'm going to say AEW is not a horrible company. They they have a little bit of polishing that I think they need to do. I'm definitely not a wrestling expert by any means, but I think there are some things that they could polish and work on as far as the way some of the things they do in the matches, and definitely the freaking referees.
Well, yeah, the referees are practically useless in AEW. You really, in an AEW match, you really don't need a referee.
And that's one thing I do disagree with Tony Khan on. He said he really wasn't concerned with the referees at this point.
I said I don't agree with Tony Khan's booking, but that's a conversation for another time.
I mean, the referees are really...
Yeah, they're useless.
If you look at the match, they're really the centerpiece of that match.
Well, not even that. Just like they're just there. It's like they're not enforcing a breakup. They're not enforcing a disqualification, 10 count, any of that stuff. They're just there to count a pin.
But in a normal match, they're supposed to be like the centerpiece. They're the ones that really supposed to enforce things, and really they can change the outcome of the match if they're doing what they're supposed to do.
They're supposed to be the authority figure of the match. That's their job.
Exactly. And I think that's where Tony Khan and Bully Ray had a disagreement on Busted Open Radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know Jericho at one time, he had voiced his opinion about the referees too, how they need to do a little bit better.
Yeah, well, Jericho needs to do a little bit better too, but But
he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong, but he's got shit he needs to fix too.
And still, the man he's not stupid. He may come up with shitty ideas from time to time, but he's not stupid.
He does stupid shit.
I mean, yeah. But still, for him to be, he's not in the greatest shape now. He's in his 50s, but still, he's had a long career.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about what he's done, his legacy or anything like that. I'm just talking about right now.
Yeah. Well, his career is kind of winding down, so
yeah,
he can afford to do that.
I guess.
He's already cemented his legacy and his talent as a performer. So he has really nothing else to prove. So I think he's at that stage now where he can just go out, do silly shit, and have fun with it for real.
Yeah.
But, speaking of people who have cemented their legacies and everything, you had Conan. He came on AEW this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was what was it? It was the last Saturday night episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
And he had his meeting with Tully.
Yeah. Now, there's some reason that didn't really grab my interest a whole lot. So, it was playing in the background and I was listening to it, but I wasn't exactly paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one, it was an unscripted promo. That was all off the top of his head. There was nothing written for him or anything like that. And to me personally, I just find it humorous that a guy who's not even part of the company shows up for 5 minutes and cuts a better promo than most people that are on the show all the time.
And look how many years of experience he's got though, too.
Oh yeah, well no, but that's what I'm getting at. He does the basics. He knows how to do a promo. Yeah, that's you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of these guys in AEW, a lot of them are fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of them are still kind of learning, and a lot of them are just trying to do big things to get over.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they're not going to look at the basics, and they're going to kind of go to what they know is on pop.
And they are, and you're right about that. But a lot of that issue is they're trying to learn on live TV. That's that leads to some of the crazy things we see that happen.
Yeah. But sometimes it's the basics that'll really get you over them more than doing the extra stuff.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. Sometimes you don't need to do all that crazy stuff. Just come in, be straightforward, just A to Z, do your thing and go.
Like, look at MJF, right? His promos.
Yeah.
He's basic. He talks his bullshit, and everybody hates him.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing what he's supposed to do, and he does a great job at it.
Yeah. That's just like what Tully used to do. Tully was the same thing. Tully was the guy that he would go out there and talk and make you hate him.
I mean, sometimes that's all it takes for real.
Mm-hmm. But no, I liked Conan's promo, and I thought, throwing the whole thing about learn to speak Spanish so you can talk to your grandkids. I thought that was hilarious.
I know. I heard that, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I had to go back and rewind it so I could really see what he was saying. I'm like, "Holy shit!" Who is Tessa married to now?
No, I stopped for the guy's name's Daga. Yeah, he's a luchador. He's a Mexican wrestler. That's why when I heard him say that, I stopped. I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Damn."
One thing I will say about AEW versus WWE, or really a lot of other promotions, is AEW tends to go that route a little bit more. Like they'll take a shot, or they'll kind of go off script. You know how they used to say break that barrier? They do that a little bit more than a lot of the other promotions.
Yeah, they tend to.
Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
Kind of like, after AEW went off the air this week, videos that come up of Eddie Kingston addressing the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those things where he took his shots. He was really speaking what he was feeling. Some people had good reactions. Some people had bad reactions.
I just thought it was a little strange coming from a guy that never worked for WWE. Not that everybody doesn't know what they do, but
I mean, but look how many people who are in AEW work for WWE at some point in their career.
well, I know that, and that's what I'm getting at. I would expect it from one of those guys. It was kind of odd coming from Kingston, as I said, because he's never worked for him.
That's one point I do want to bring up. He's one of the only guys with a career that he's had. You know, as long as he's been wrestling, he's one of the only ones with a career that long that hasn't been to WWE.
Yep.
And I don't think it was his talent.
And
I don't think it was his talent that kept him out of WWE.
No, because Kingston's best thing is he can talk his ass off, you know. And normally WWE is the type of company that wants that kind of guy, but Kingston also is the one. He's not gonna be somewhere where he's told what to say and how to say it and all that.
Exactly. So
because that's his best skill is his talking.
And I feel like that's kind of why he decided to, say what he said.
And that could be that could be it.
Pretty much he was saying, that the guys in the AEW locker room as a whole care more about the business itself and the sport versus WWE and those guys in that locker room, which to an extent I can believe it's true.
Well, a lot of the people in WWE are not really pro wrestlers. They've only come up through the WWE system and nowhere else. They've never wrestled, in Mexico or Canada or Japan or other, American independents, nothing like that.
And it shows
a lot of those WWE people have only ever been there, and it's two totally different worlds.
And it definitely shows with Nia Jax.
There's a lot of people though. There's a lot of them. Not just her. There's a lot of them that are just have never been anywhere else.
But it really shows with her because she doesn't have that experience of working with people of different backgrounds or coming up through the ranks. She was just brought straight into WWE, and look how many people she done hurt through mistakes.
But and a lot of it's on the person too.
No, yeah, definitely.
Because she's been there how long and still hasn't learned even the WWE style, which is not really pro wrestling anymore.
No, it's not really.
And she can't even do that.
But then you also had guys like Braun Strowman.
He's another one. He's never done anything but WWE. So he's just a WWE product.
But he was good at what he did, though, which is the difference between like him and Nia Jax. One was good, one not so good.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm not saying he wasn't good at what he was doing. It's just that's not the same as somebody who's been wrestling through the independents and everywhere. It's not like Sami Zayn or Daniel Bryan or one of those guys that went everywhere.
Matt Riddle's another one I just thought about.
Yeah. Well, Matt Riddle, he ran the gauntlet of all the independents before he got, before he got to WWE. He was wrestling everywhere that would take him.
Yeah, it wasn't like a long time though, like some of those guys you had just mentioned.
No, it wasn't, but he was still going to all those different,
getting that experience.
Right, exactly. Some guys it's 20 years, some guys it's a handful of years, but they're still doing that traveling. They're not in the same, they're not in a factory, basically,
Basically, yeah. I think as AEW though, I think as long as it continues to develop, I'll give it 5 years. Are you going to see a totally different product?
Well, like I said, we'll see.
Because all those guys that we are saying right now are new. They're going to get that experience. They're going to pick the brains of these guys that are steadily coming onto the roster. Mark Henry, Big Show. Those are two right there.
All the people that they have there, all the veteran names and legends and all that, I would like to think that somebody is asking questions to these guys.
And I think that's going to happen here in time. Like I said, give it 5 years. They've been on for 2 years now. Give it 3 more years. I think we're going to see a different product.
We might. We don't know.
I'm willing to. I think we are. But like you just said, we'll see, when that time comes. So remember this conversation. We're going to talk about it in 3 years.
We brought it here first.
That was really all the news that happened this week. Like I said, nothing big happened. As far as news-wise.
Just another week in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it wasn't a boring week, but as far as news, it was kind of quiet. Most of the big stuff came, for once, it came in the ring this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've not seen that many good matches in in 2 weeks. Maybe now we do the show every 2 weeks. Just that 2 week period, I've never seen so many good matches.
Mm-hmm.
With that one time frame.
There was a lot of good stuff that I, browsing through, picking through, and found. I watched a couple of Pro Wrestling Noah shows, and they actually had a hair versus hair cage match, which ended up being pretty damn bloody. I was kind of surprised by that one.
Hey, that's another promotion we forgot to list earlier.
Noah.
Yeah, we forgot Noah, yeah.
Well,
so add that to the list too. Add that to the list. But Matt Riddle and AJ Styles. Yeah, John Morrison and Ricochet.
Ricochet, yeah.
You had the Briscoes on Ring of Honor, that fight on the farm, a cinematic piece, but it wasn't like that cinematic thing you see from WWE.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was more of a legit fight.
Yeah, and then this week, New Japan had one of the best 6-man tag matches I've seen in a long time for their 6-man tag titles.
Who was that? I didn't catch that.
That was Chaos. They're 3 of the members of Chaos are the 6-man champions right now.
All right.
And that was a hell of a fight. That was almost a 30-minute 6-man tag match.
Damn.
Yeah, and they defended. They kept the belts.
Who did they defend against? Well, obviously, you watched it.
Yeah, but I also fell asleep watching every wrestling show this week because work was crazy.
Dude, I get that. Freaking long work days, I work nights, so long nights for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that guy and pull the results up right now.
Well, while you're looking for it, I'm gonna keep running my damn mouth. SmackDown on NXT, which has been kind of the last couple weeks, was actually fairly good this week. They had a few good matches, and the one that really stood out to me from NXT was the main event.
Yeah.
It was Isaiah Swerve Scott. He won the North American title from Bronson Reed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was like a classic big man versus little man type match.
Yeah.
Except the heel won. The little heel won.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when I was listing matches, I said Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I meant Drew McIntyre. Matt Riddle versus Drew McIntyre. Like Drew really brought out the best performance I've really ever seen from Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm. But I've always been a fan of Matt Riddle. I've always liked his style.
I can't say the
I
same.
I like those guys that have the MMA base. I've always been a fan of that.
Maybe it's just his character that really turns me away.
Yeah, his personality is goofy as fuck, but I like his wrestling.
And you say what you will, but there's like two good matches from AEW this week too. And really the match that stole the whole damn show was Sammy Guevara and MJF.
Now, I liked that match until one point, but go ahead and we'll get.
Which one was that? What point?
Go ahead and say.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I knew you all had
it.
something to say. That's why I brought it up. I brought it up for a reason.
Yeah, no. I'll say go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then I'll add to the.
Oh hell! Hope y'all ready for him to try to roast AEW again. No, but
I liked it until this part, but
no. Then another good match too. Again, you're not a fan, which is fine. I'm not exactly a fan of them, but the match itself was fairly good. And that was the AEW World Title match between Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega.
I didn't watch it.
Well, obviously.
I like Jungle Boy. He has a shitload of potential, but
no, seriously though, watch that match though, and just even if you don't like Omega, just look at Jungle Boy. He really stands out in that match. But what you got to say about Guevara and MJF?
So no, I was into it and I liked it until this happened, and then I was just, because that damn Avalanche Tombstone pile,
dude, that was going to be one of my picks for moment of the week too.
Look, because here's my point. Look how fucking beautiful it was.
Yes,
he did it perfectly, and it was only a fucking 2 count. That is fucking horseshit. That should have been it.
But look how long it took him to go for the cover.
No, but that should have been the end.
But look how long it took him to go for the cover, and look how weak the cover was.
After all the shit they were doing leading up to that should have been the end.
But then again, when you're watching that match, there's only 2 things you're looking at, right? How long it takes to go for that cover, and how strong that cover is. And that's how they play it off with the commentary. It took him a while to go for that cover, Oh, he's only got one leg hooked. Oh, he's only got an arm over him. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't heard an announcer comment about a pin in a long time.
They did it just this past week.
No, they didn't.
They did on damn near every show. They do it every week.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. But you don't watch it. You don't watch wrestling like that. You just watch the highlights.
No, actually, I usually watch all the shows, but it all runs together sometimes.
Okay, you said you fell asleep. You must have fell asleep during that part.
Dude, work's been great.
No, seriously, next time when you're watching one of these matches, them crazy matches like that, really listen to the commentators, and I guarantee you'll hear it.
Well, what I'm getting at is that when I started watching wrestling, it's something you would hear all the time. That pin wasn't deep enough. He didn't get the right kind of pin. He didn't do this. He didn't do, it was constant because they were literally, play by play, everything. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was Jericho was the one that called that too, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but JR all the time back then. All the time, JR would always talk about the type of pin or, that wasn't a, you know what I'm saying?
One of them said it, though. I want to say it might have been Jericho.
Actually, I think he did, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, see, now you think he did. But still, I agree with you. I thought that would have been the end of the match, for real.
Yeah. That should have been, if that was the end of it, that would have been my pick for the,
That was still one of the best damn matches I saw this week. With a lot of the...
Till that moment.
Do what?
I said, till that moment.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of prolonged it.
It should have been the finish.
There was a lot of spots in that match that are like, holy shit, though. Like when Sammy Guevara, MJF was behind the barricade, right? You remember how I was telling you about that spot with Morrison and Ricochet?
Yeah,
Morrison and Ricochet.
Yeah, no, I saw. I know
they topped it. They topped it. Like they put everything they had into that match.
Yep, and they should have ended it at the Tombstone. It'd have been perfect.
They wanted to give more to the fans.
Dude, everything they did up to that point would have been fine.
But I agree with you on that, though. That Tombstone really could have, and I think it should have been the end of the match. It had me thinking that was the end of the match.
Right. Well, not like I said, not only that, the dude did it fucking perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen anybody do it like that in a while. He did it fucking perfect.
I was honestly surprised they let him do it.
Yeah, me too. Especially after Matt Hardy almost got killed like 3 times in a month.
Yeah. Like, when I was watching it, I saw him try to go for it. I was like, ain't no way he's going to do this. And he did it. I was like, holy shit. They might have just killed him.
Yeah, when he did it,
he just killed Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh, that's it. That's why I said that's it.
But I'd have to say that was probably one of the best matches I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but anyways, did you ever look up that New Japan 6-man tag match you're just talking about?
We're moving past that.
Anyways, speaking of moments and flops and everything this week, now we come to our segment where it's the moment flop of the week. With all those things we just talked about, now we're going to pick the top ones. Mm-hmm. And Nick, you went first last week, so I'll go ahead and list mine first this week. My flop for this week, as it has been for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, has just been seeing Eva Marie and Doudrop on Raw.
Yeah.
Like, you released all that talent for that.
Mm-hmm.
You released Mickie James for that. Yeah, who else did they release? They released a ton of freaking women, too.
Yeah, I mean, the list is a mile long at this point.
Yeah, for real. But Eva Marie, she can talk. She can look like a total bitch. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will say this, though. She can play a heel on the mic.
Well, yeah, because she's a bitch.
But she can't wrestle worth a fuck no matter how long Brian Kendrick tries to train her.
No. She don't have it.
Then Doudrop. Given she was big with NXT UK, I'm not seeing it. What was her name? Piper Nixon or Piper Vixen or something like that?
Piper Niven.
Like, I'm not right now with this character, I'm not seeing anything spectacular.
No, it just.
And whatever momentum she had over in NXT UK,
it's all gone.
It's done. It's gone. There's nothing there.
She never, at this point, it's like she never had a career. Here she is.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I thought it was just some woman they got off the street for real.
Yeah.
And then when I started looking a little more into it, I didn't know the damn woman was big with NXT UK and was one of the top people over there as far as their women's division.
Yeah. Yeah, she had been, but most people wouldn't know that because it's a random show buried in the internet,
And, like most NXT talent, they buried her on the main roster. They killed whatever momentum she had.
Mm-hmm.
But my moment of the week actually came from Ring of Honor. And it was the fight on the farm between 2 brothers, Mark and Jay Briscoe. There was one spot in the match where Mark had put Jay on one of the tables,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets on top of the carport and does like a splash off the top of the carport,
Oh, shit.
putting Jay through the table.
So
and
Mark did that to Jay.
Yep, and landed flat on the ground. Put him through the table, and then, there's nothing there, just fucking dirt and grass and fucking
Yeah,
no cushion.
They're fucking crazy enough to do it.
Like I thought, like for real, that avalanche pile driver had it until I saw that. I'm like, holy fuck,
Yeah, watch some of their other matches with each other. They beat the shit out of each other anytime they face each other.
Well, now I'm trying to get back in the Ring of Honor a little bit more, which there is a match coming on next week.
Yeah.
That I do want to see this Saturday. Is actually PJ Black, Justin Gabriel.
Yeah.
PJ Black versus Flip Gordon.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be a damn good match.
That has my
I saw it. I'm like,
that has my attention. I'm gonna check that out.
That's gonna be a good one to see.
Yeah,
but
check that out. Yeah, definitely gonna check that out.
But Nick, what did you pick for your moment and your flop of the week?
Well, we've already discussed my moment. That was Conan's promo, because he just gave everybody a free promo class. But my flop, I normally don't pick stuff like this, but I had to because I about pissed myself laughing when I saw this. That fucking facial that the Elite was wearing.
The biggest flop was the facial
Kenny
hair.
Omega looked like he had a Puerto Rican pubic hair afro going across his face. And then what was it? Was it Nick Jackson trying to wear the Hogan Fu Manchu?
Yeah, dude, I saw that.
Yeah, come on, man.
I do want to say something about that.
Yeah,
I think it was meant to be a joke.
Well, yeah, obviously that was the point,
but did they do what they wanted to do with that?
Well, if people like me are assuming that they just look like douchebags showing up like that, then yeah, it worked.
I think they wanted to try to make people laugh with that, and you just said it, and I did too. They did what they wanted to do. If that's what the case is.
Like I said, it made me laugh and go, "Hi, you douchebag!" It worked.
But
I mean, it worked.
One thing I do want to say about Kenny Omega, right? When I saw his facial hair, you know what I thought about when I saw it?
You probably thought about Triple H, but
I thought it was time to play the game for real.
I thought about Lemmy because that's where Triple H got it from.
Right,
and I'm a huge Motorhead fan, but
I feel like that. For some reason, that's telling. It might have nothing to do with Triple H for real. It really might not. But that's where my mind instantly went.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was meant to be a knock on Triple H, a jab at. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was.
Oh, I guess we'll never know for real unless they speak on it.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I know when I saw him, I was like, the fuck?
Right? I heard a little bit about it, but I watched all the shows a few days later, because I record them. And when I saw it, I'm like, this is what everybody was talking about. Then I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was rough.
I wonder what they're going to do next week.
I had no telling.
They might come out in DX gear or NWO gear next week.
That could be.
But anyways, that's our moments and flops of the week. Again, my moment was that jump off the carport during the Briscoes fight on their farm. And the flop for me was just seeing Doudrop and Eva Marie on Raw again.
Yeah.
For Nick, his whole moment was just that promo class he dropped on everybody right on AEW. And his flop was facial hair. You got something to say about my facial hair? You got something to say about my goatee? Is it not pretty enough?
You going to be Walter White for Halloween?
Hey, look, when we first started this, I had the full beard.
You did.
And now I'm down to this.
Like I said, you're going to be Walter White for Halloween.
Who's Walter White?
Breaking Bad, the guy that sold meth.
No, I never watched it.
The dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
I didn't really watch Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Y'all kids killing me.
I know, I'm uncultured.
Don't worry, I am too.
But now we're going to pick what we thought were the best matches of the week. And for me, I don't know. It was a bit of a I don't know. I'm going to have to say the best match I saw this week was Sammy Guevara and MJF from AEW. I'm going to have to say that they had the top match this week. Oh, the past 2 weeks.
If they had ended on that tombstone, I would agree with you.
I don't know, like Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre was a close second, though.
Right. Yeah, and they did.
It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick between them two, and for two totally different reasons.
Right.
Yeah, but they were still both very entertaining.
They were. They were. There's no taking that away.
Like the reason I'm picking MJF and Guevara, because those are two of the hottest people in AEW right now. And they went out there and they put on a freaking, barn burner, if you will. I really don't even have a word for it. That was easily the best match I saw this week. And then McIntyre and Riddle last week on Raw.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed seeing that work come out of Matt Riddle.
Right.
Just on his performance alone.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it was a different. It's not what you're used to seeing from Riddle.
Exactly. Yeah. But hey, Nick, what's your pick for this week?
Well, my pick, and like I said, if they'd have ended that match on that point, I would agree with you 100%. But I picked Tomohiro Ishii versus Yuji Nagata from day 11 of the New Japan Kazuna Road Tour. And because that was just old school, strong style. They just kicked the shit out of each other for 20 minutes. Like Nagata's chest was purple, not even halfway through the match. And about 5 minutes in, and you've seen enough of Ishii, about 5 minutes in, they were pretty much just punching each other for real.
Dude, sometimes watching New Japan, the way they do their strikes, sometimes I think they are hitting each other for real.
Sometimes they really are.
That doesn't surprise me. Honestly.
You get the right combination of guys, and they're throwing live shots.
So what was it about that match that really stood out to you, though?
Well, it's because I like that old school strong style from what New Japan is known for.
Right.
I've always liked that style because a lot of times it looks like a legitimate fight. It looks like, okay, these guys are actually they're trying to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now,
a lot of it's a different feel. It's a different feel to it. You get that sense of urgency, like this person needs to win this match.
You know what really gets me thinking about these when I try watching New Japan?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what really gets me like really looking at it more and really hyped up to see it when I do watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say it's the performers in the ring. It's the freaking announcers screaming in Japanese at the top of their lungs. They're screaming. Oh, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? He hit him with a clothesline. They really, for the American fan who cannot understand them, when they start going off like that, you're going to look at that TV.
And that's one of the things I like about them. You don't have to know what they're saying. You can figure it out just by the tone, how they're, their excitement, how loud they're getting, shit's going down.
Right. But anything else who ended up winning that match?
Ishii won with that nasty brain buster he does.
Okay. Was it a fast-paced match, or was it kind of a slow, methodical thing? How was it paced out?
It was pretty much firmly in the middle.
Oh, really?
Like they just kept steady. There really wasn't any lulls. They were just back. They were just kept a steady. It wasn't slow, but it wasn't so fast. You're like, what the hell's happening?
like a lot of the matches I see from New Japan, it's extremely fast paced.
Right. Especially when they do their multi-man matches.
Yeah.
That's when they do their 6-mans and their 8-mans, they really try to play up the every man, the what's like the faction warfare,
Like this is the best.
Just fighting off each other.
Like this is the best comparison I can come up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
To how I see a New Japan match.
Yeah.
You remember back on the old Windows computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that pinball game that was on there?
Yeah.
Remember how fast the damn ball would move around, and you had to try to use the keyboard to hit the little levers to.
Yeah.
That pinball. How fast that motherfucker would move. That's what it makes me think of.
Well, I watch it for the strong style, not for necessarily the junior stuff. But you're right, and especially with some of those juniors, holy shit,
dude, it's crazy.
But no, like I said, I liked it because that match was in that old strong style, and I really like that stuff. Because remember, that's the stuff that CW was talking about, and that's the kind of match it was.
Cat was in here, wanted to say, "Hey,
hello, Cat.
This is my spoiled little baby right here. All right, get your ass down." I just noticed he was in here the whole time.
Just chilling.
Like he was just chilling in the chair. Another chair I got hit there. I seen him jump down. Where did you come from? But speaking of New Japan, though, today it came up as a notification on my phone. Gallows and Anderson actually went back to New Japan this past week.
Well, what they're doing is they're part of a tag tournament that's on Strong.
Oh, it's on Strong?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the name of this tournament? I feel like I heard something about it. It was like tag team turbulence or something like that.
Yeah, hold on.
I want to say that's what it was, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, because that's what they're part of. Yeah, tag team turbulence. Yep, that's the name of the tournament, tag team turbulence.
Okay. And have you been watching that tournament any at all, or?
I have not had a chance to sit down and watch, but I am going. But no, he said their first round matchup, the Good Brothers, that's against Clark Connors and TJP, and then we got the DKC and Knight versus West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is a fun tag team to watch.
I don't know who any of them are.
You wouldn't.
But I did see the last week on NXT. Is it Christian Blake? I think.
Blake. Isn't that Blake Christian?
He's got two first names, so I always get mixed up. But that guy, he debuted on NXT last week in a cruiserweight title match.
Mm-hmm.
And really, for a debut match, they really actually made him look strong.
Right. Well, that's what they normally do, and then a couple months down the line, you're jobbing off to,
Just like the way they presented the match, like he was doing an open challenge. I thought like the way they just really kind of did a non-build for it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this will be a quick match. No, it actually went for a little bit, and I was surprised because he really got to showcase some of his talent.
No, they had a pretty good match. That was a pretty solid match for sure.
Oh, definitely. But now I think it's time for what I always say is our favorite segment of the show, and that's our classic matches of the week. Yeah, this is where, again, for anybody who's just beginning to watch the show, this is where me and Nick will pick one match from any point in wrestling history, and we'll recommend it for the viewers to watch. And with this month being July, Independence Day for us here in America, for me, the Great American Bash, whether it's NXT, WWE, or even WCW, NWA, whatever company has the rights to it at that time, the Great American Bash has always been synonymous with the month of July for me.
Yep.
So that's why I made it a point to look up some of the greater matches from the Great American Bash. And there was one match that came to me that I said, I'm going to look at this. I've never watched it. Never heard of it. Didn't even know the match happened. So some list I was looking up online said this was the number one match in Great American Bash history. So I said, I'm going to look it up on YouTube and I'm going to watch it. I did this while I was at work, so don't tell nobody about that. Anyways, it was from Great American Bash 1989. Yeah, that's about 5 years before I was even a thought. But this was actually an NWA World Title match from the Great American Bash 1989 between Ric Flair and Terry Funk. And like I said, it was my first time watching the match. So I was actually surprised that I was into it like I was. Because normally the older matches I don't get into like that. This one had me freaking sitting there staring at. I forgot what the hell was going on at work.
Because it's Ric Flair and Terry Funk. That's why.
Dude, that was like that was just a brawl.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like they were just going at it. And it got fairly bloody, certain points through the match.
Yeah. And see, that's what I loved about Terry Funk at that point in time is that he made every match just look like a bar fight.
Bad thing, he looked old back then during that match too. Like he looked.
And that's another thing I was going to say about that match that you picked. Terry Funk was already 20 plus years into his career when that match happened.
Really?
Yeah, Terry Funk debuted in the 60s.
He's been in the business that long?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he was. I think he'd already been in. Yeah, he'd already been in over 20 years when they had that match in '89. So he was well into his wrestling.
That Ric Flair, he was really still on the rise with his Nature Boy gimmick.
Well, at that time in '89, he had already been. Yeah, I think he'd already had multiple world titles by that point. And they already had the Four Horsemen thing and all that.
And I'm trying to remember what year that plane crash was. Was it 85?
The plane crash was in the 70s.
Okay, because I know it was after the plane crash. That's when he started the Nature Boy gimmick.
Right. Because before that, he was like a 300-pound like bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And then he had a really bad spine injury. Then so he lost the weight, changed his style, gimmick, and that's where that,
Okay, so I was wrong.
That was like 77, 78, something like that.
So I was 10 years into the gimmick, not just getting into the gimmick. But regardless, still, it was a freaking brawl between those two, and it was a great match. And I recommend, especially for people who aren't exactly a fan of the more classic matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I'm not exactly a fan of the older classic matches. I more lean towards the newer stuff. But that is definitely one match I'll recommend to anybody.
Well, I also think that Ric Flair and Terry Funk, for new fans or people that haven't seen, any wrestling past a certain point, those are two guys, really good guys to start with.
Yeah. Flair, I don't care what anybody says. If you had to put up a Mount Rushmore professional wrestler, Ric Flair's going to be on it.
Yeah, easily.
Anybody who knows professional wrestling, Ric Flair's going to be one of them on it.
Yeah, no question.
But Nick, you had a good pick this week too. Also from Great American Bash 1 year, right?
Yeah, this was from 1987, and this was when the Great American Bash was actually a tour that lasted about a month and would usually finish around the 4th of July, would be around that time. They would usually it was usually like a 3-week tour. That's what it started at before it became an actual pay-per-view event. So, but this match was from the Great American Bash, the 4th of July stop from 1987, and it's the very first War Games match ever. And,
very first.
Yes.
Like the first time they've ever done it.
Yes, this was the very first one. It was on the 4th of July.
So they didn't know what the fuck they were doing when they got into this match.
When I read these names off to you of who's in this match, trust me, they knew what the fuck they were doing. Because you had the 4 horsemen of Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Lex Luger, and Tully Blanchard with their manager, J.J. Dillon, against Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff, and Paul Ellering.
So, again, I've never seen this match, but you said, the managers, were they actually wrestling or were they still on the outside doing manager stuff?
No, the managers competed in this match.
Really? So Paul Ellering and J.J. Dillon were competing?
Yeah. Yes, they were fighting in the match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was full blown. This was real War Games. Everybody fought.
Oh, shit. So tell me a little bit about this match.
Excuse me. This one kind of laid the blueprint for how pretty much every other War Games match went. Like the coin toss and the heels winning the coin toss, all this stuff, all these little subtle things that have happened in all the other matches, all that started here.
Right.
And they set the rules of the first 2 people, 5-minute period, just those 2. Then they start bringing everybody in. And with everybody involved in this match, it got bloody.
I remember hearing that,
Yeah, with Dusty and Flair and Anderson and those guys, Well,
Ric Flair's on try to have a bloody match at any chance he can.
And there was this one moment in the match where Hawk literally tossed Tully Blanchard from one ring to the other, like he just one arm heaved him, like.
Oh shit!
It just threw the ring.
He said he threw who like that?
Blanchard. He threw Tully. He just tossed like a sack of shit across, like over the ropes into the other ring.
Oh damn!
And then there was another spot with Hawk where he did his flying shoulder tackle, but he jumped over the ropes into the other ring. Yeah, that giant dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big dude to be doing that.
Yeah. So it was just a brawl. Like it wasn't like wrestling holds or anything like that. It was a brawl, and they were using every bit of the cage.
Oh shit. So I'm just taking a guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing the Four Horsemen won this match?
No, actually, Dusty's team won.
Really? It is his match.
Yeah, and it was 4th of July. Dusty's not losing.
Yeah, touche.
But yeah, the Dream Team, Dusty's Dream Team won.
Excuse me.
But if you watch this match, and if you were a fan of the AEW match, you'll see where AEW got a lot of how they did that. Just like the heels winning the coin toss, just the certain things they did with the cage and stuff like that.
So I'm gonna go on and say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the modern War Games matches, with the exception of NXT, because they're going to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But this is kind of where AEW is trying to mold themselves, was after that match, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have to check that out now, too, because like those spots that you just told me actually do seem like it might be make for a good match.
And now AEW, they did follow it closer than what NXT has done.
Oh God, yeah.
Excuse me. But the cage did have a roof on it, but it wasn't the giant cage that AEW did. This cage was literally right on top of
the ring.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's how that's also how JJ Dillon got his collarbone broken, because he took a doomsday device from the Road Warriors in this limited space cage, and he landed right on his collarbone and his shoulder. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Was he able to finish the match?
Actually, I think they pinned him
just to end it.
I think he was the one that surrendered.
Damn. But, everybody, that's our classic matches of the week. I picked Ric Flair versus Terry Funk for the NWA World Heavyweight title from Great American Bash 1989. Mm-hmm. And Nick actually had a very interesting pick. He picked the very first War Games match, with the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Lex Luger, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon versus Dusty Rhodes, Road Warriors, Paul Ellering, and Nikita Koloff. Both, as always, great picks. As I'm gonna actually have to check that War Games match out, though.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And as always, the links for these matches will be posted on our Facebook page and on our Twitter page. And we'll post it on Instagram. I'll start putting it on Instagram too, for everybody to view for yourselves. That's the point of the segment, but hey, I'm just saying. But one thing I do want to say, though, when you're talking about modeling modern matches off of older matches,
mm-hmm.
The exploding barbed wire death match. No, hear me out for a second. What was the company that did it before?
What was FMW?
FMW. Now they're doing FMWE, right?
Yeah.
Well, the guy that started it, what's his name? Onita?
Yep.
Onita has actually made it publicly known that he wants to fight John Moxley in that match, for the first match in this promotion.
Well, see, and here's the thing. He said pretty much everything what everybody else said. Yeah, I really liked the match, but that explosion was garbage.
Yeah, that's what he said. The match itself was good. It's just the explosion that kind of disappointed him.
But you know what? If they had that match in his company, good God.
But here's the thing. They said really AEW didn't really reach out for any type of advice on how to make that work.
Yeah, right.
He said they wanted to do it on their own, which is all fine and good, but
no, if you're
anyways.
going to do an exploding anything match, that's the guy you need to talk to.
So now you got potentially they might do an explode barbed wire death match in CMW. Is it
FMW?
FMW. I'm sorry, FMW. FMWE. Onita versus John Moxley in an exploding barbed wire death match. But there's more. Then this is all on Twitter. Then Mick Foley comments on it.
Yeah.
Mick Foley said he wanted to be the referee.
Mm-hmm.
So you got three, like hardcore. I'm not going to say legends because Moxley isn't a legend yet.
Well, no, but Foley and Onita definitely
are
legends.
You got two hardcore legends. I'm going to say a guy who's following towards their footsteps, really.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a hell of a match to see.
It would be interesting. And like
that's
I said,
something I would actually probably go out of my way to see, too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. If that match does happen, that would be interesting because I know how both guys are and I know how both their matches go. And if you want anything to explode in wrestling, Onita's the guy to talk to.
But
I would definitely watch that just to see how it went down.
Definitely. But anyways, guys, that's how we're going to wrap up this week's episode. And again, we're doing this every 2 weeks, so we will see y'all in 2 weeks. I hope everybody is, here in America anyways, is celebrating, Independence Day. I hope everybody has had a safe, happy 4th of July. And again, we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. And I also just want to say before we get off here that we do appreciate all the likes, all the views, all the follows, everything. And everything just keeps growing. Everything we've done, each time we do something, we and me and Marcus both, we see it every time we put something out for y'all. The numbers just keep getting bigger and they keep going up.
And, that's what keeps me wanting to do this more, is seeing it grow. I do it because I enjoy it, but seeing it grow the way it is it makes me wanting to do it more too.
And we truly do appreciate it.
Definitely. As again, like you were saying, thank you to everybody for all the support this far, and we will try our best to continue to deliver on every episode. But that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. And again, for those who don't know, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
And we are out.